Fast X. When you're here, your family, or something like that. I mean, that can't just be Olive Garden, right? But they do go to Italy in this movie, and we'll get into that in a minute. But and then I want to preface, welcome to my kind of right out of the theater movie review. I saw this the Fast X a few hours ago, but I wanted to talk about it when it's fresh in my mind. I meant to do a right out of the theater movie of Guardians 3 when it came out. I may still do a review. If you want to see a review of Guardians 3 and hear my thoughts, put it in the chat, put it in the comment section, DM me, whatever you got to do, and I'll do one. But for right now, it's 50-50. We'll see. But because I probably need to see it another time, honestly, and then do a review, a proper review. But yeah, so I'm just here to talk Fast X, and I may get into a few things about the channel, maybe near the end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the non-spoilers, and then I'm going to hit the spoilers at a certain point, and I'll let you know, and I'll give you like 15 seconds or 10 seconds, something like that, to tune out if you haven't seen this movie, or if you care about spoilers, you can tune out at that point. But for right now, yeah, welcome. I'm Jordan, the movie hero Anderson, and yeah, Fast X, woo, what a ride. So I am a massive Fast and Furious fan. I just want to preface that, so that goes into it. That's a factor for me, and it depends where I go to see it. So I have a Regal Theater that's about an hour away because I got a Regal Unlimited pass or subscription, whatever you want to call it, and I will drive up there when I can do like double features. It's up in Idaho Falls, which is about a point up for north, but it's north. North is like how is this? The house situation is like that way, I guess you could say. But yeah, and if I want to do like a double feature, a triple feature, I'll go up there. I'll use my Regal Unlimited. I have an AMC right down the road, and a lot of times it's just more worth it to just pay for it and just see it because it's right there. I can zip there, I can zip home. When I do, or I see movies in Idaho Falls, when I have that hour-long drive home, you'll see me do it in the car. I'll do a review to pass the time while I'm driving. But here, I just zip over there and zip back, and I can do it here live in the studio. So thanks for tuning in if you are tuning in. And yeah, let's get into this thing. So, and one of the things I also want to do, and I'll do it maybe near the end though, but I want to rank all the Fast and the Furious movies, give you my personal ranking, because the first Fast and the Furious came out in 2001 when I was in high school. I was like a sophomore or junior in high school, something like that, and yeah, that is a perfect time, and I'll talk more about that when I do my rankings. But yeah, perfect timing for me. And then I grew up with all these movies, just watching every single one of them. I've seen all of them in theaters. I own them all except for, of course, Fast X. But and even some of the ones that I don't like so much, which I'll get into. There are some I love, and there's some that I do not like. But it's getting late, so I gotta stay hydrated. So I don't get dry mouth. But anyways, so yeah, this movie has everybody in it. This movie is freaking packed, and not only do they have all the main stars, they add people like, of course, Jason Momoa as an awesome villain. He's probably one of my favorite parts in the movie. I'm trying to think if there's anyone that they add. They add. I think there's a guy named Ames. Alan Richardson is the actor that they add to it, and then they add Brie Larson to this one, and I think everyone else is basically a returning person. So yeah, but yeah, you have everyone that you know and love, and rest in peace, Paul Walker, still from years ago. But they do pay a tribute to him. They pay tribute to a couple. This is a minor spoiler, so tune out for like 10 seconds if you want. I'll give you a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's no Kurt Russell in this thing, and no Rock. So those two are not here. So, and I wish they were. Okay, you can come back now. But yeah, those characters I mentioned, I wish that they were in it. They're not, but it's all right because this thing is packed. So basically, you have from this is not a spoiler about the movie, but a spoiler about my ranking. My number one favorite Fast and Furious movie is Fast Five, and they play a lot into Fast Five because that's the one where they do the big bank heist and they're dragging around that big safe, and they have like a something Ortiz guy that's that they steal all the money from. I think it's Ortiz. I can't remember. I may have that wrong, but the guy down in Brazil, and they steal the safe, and then Jason Momoa is his son, and so he's like after the whole crew in a big way, and that's always how it goes. There's always someone that's gonna put an end to their crew or like try and kill them, try and stop them, and like so. I'll say this: it's not the worst Fast and Furious movie. It's not the best. It lies somewhere in the middle for me. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Fast 8 and Fast 9. I don't really like those ones. Fast 8, oh no, I don't know. I don't really like either one of those. But they have their moments. I'll say that. But it's at least better than those two. And this thing's packed with your cheesy one-liners, like one after the next, after the next, after the next. So many that I can't even repeat them or say them. But after I see this movie a dozen times, because I will see it, because it's still a Fast and Furious movie, and even the worst of the worst, I still enjoy to an extent. If I say I don't like it, that's not really true because I do still like basically every Fast and Furious movie. There's just some that are way better. Some are leaps and bounds better, but uh, and there's several villains in this thing because you got Charlize Theron being a villain who has to kind of like work with these guys a little bit. But the thing is, it's so packed with actors in this thing, big name actors, that it's like hard to to sometimes keep track of what's happening. I mean, you can. It does a good job of going back and forth and let you know what's going on, but they're all separated. That's one thing I don't like. And I may be a little bit all over the place as far as my pros and cons, but I don't like that they're separated. I wish that they would be all together working as a team. And sorry, I haven't been having allergies. Ooh, excuse me, sorry, but yeah, minor allergies, not anything major, but yeah, so there's a few of them that are together for most of the movie. There's a few that are separate. Of course, they have to lure Dom away to be basically separated the whole entire time. I don't think there's really much of the movie where he's with his crew, really. I mean, he's with different parts of them and stuff, um, this movie has huge stunts. You see the from the trailer, the big bomb that's rolling through Rome, heading towards the Vatican. That's kind of one of the main opening stunt. They have some main things with Vin Diesel and I mean, some opening scene with Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez, like in their house, the iconic house where they all grew up. They're there with their son, but then the son is off somewhere or maybe in his room. I don't know, but they're in the bed. They're about to get it on in the bedroom, and they're like macking on each other and all that stuff. And can I just say, like, Michelle Rodriguez, out of all of these characters in this movie, like, she's kind of the low key crush for me. I think she's very attractive. Michelle Rodriguez is awesome. Like, I love her in Lost. She was great in Dungeons and Dragons. I'm sure there's more things that I'm not even remembering that she was in, but yeah, she's great and looking great, like hot as ever in this thing. But yeah, and the thing is, for me, all these movies, they just kind of blend together. I brought up a couple of things that are gonna help me to like jog some memories of it, because they visit a lot of different locations, as they always do. So the locations that they visit in this one, of course are in Los Angeles. They got to be at their iconic house for part of it, and that's when you see Jordana Brewster's character, and they refer to Mia and Brian that they're safe. Like there's like a moment where one of the SWAT team guys comes to him, and they're like, "You guys might be in danger. You need to make sure all your crew's safe and that they're accounted for." And then he says, "Well, I just heard from Mia and Brian; they're safe." And they pay homage to Paul Walker because he's a big part of. He's my favorite character in this whole dang thing, and of course, he's the one that has to pass away. Like, oh man, and from everything I've heard, he was just such a good guy. Like, donated to charity and was just really generous and kind to his fans and all that stuff. So, and like, I just love his story arc, and like, he was one of the few that like focused on the racing. Like, I mean, it was Dom and it was Brian. I mean, as the two that were the main racers, the one that worked on cars. You see them, like, there's a scene in one of the movies where he's painting his car, where he's like tuning up the and you see that from Dom, you see it from Brian, you maybe might see a little bit from Letty, maybe, and of course Tej is like the tech guy, so I think you maybe see a little of him, but it's mostly Dom and Brian, and like that's one of my cons from this thing. Not really any racing. There's one kind of almost a race, but of course it gets interrupted by something, and it doesn't like end up being an actual race. And like I just miss the like the early days of the original, the Fast and the Furious. I mean, like I don't know like what the heck it is with these titles. Why not call it Fast and Furious 1, 2, 3, 4, or like have some like very different subtitles? Don't go Fast 7 or Furious 7, Fast 8, Fast 9, Fast and Furious 6. It's like really like so. Like it just makes it complicated for people to keep straight, especially the casual fans. It kind of like just like you need some way to better differentiate these things, because even as a diehard fan, I get some of them confused. I don't know which one's called the Fast and Furious, which one's called Fast and Furious, which one's called what. But yeah, basically because these storylines all blend together. You have Jason Momoa as a mastermind villain, which I will say, I'm pretty sure he's a homosexual in this. I guess that's fine, but it's definitely a unique take on a villain, but it kind of works. It's fun. He's got some flamboyant things. He's wearing a little skirt kind of thing. He's wearing, I don't know, just some very cool and stylish clothes. Some's cool, some's a little out there for me, but and then there's like scenes where he's like painting the fingernails of some dead bodies that he has, and saying, "All right, you guys, I'm gonna go wash my hair now. Like, don't go anywhere. Finish your mojitos or like whatever." And they have them with the dead bodies set up with tropical drinks or whatever. But but he's a fun villain. Probably my favorite characters in this thing are probably definitely Jason Momoa. I really like John Cena's character, because John Cena for most of the movie palling around with the little kid, which is Vin Diesel's son, and trying to keep him safe and taking him on crazy adventures and stuff. So that's him, and of course he plays Jacob Toretto, Dom's brother. That like people come out of the woodwork, like 8 movies into this thing, or 9 movies, you find out, oh, by the way, Dom has a long lost brother that we're just now finding out about. Oh, all right. I mean, and I actually have expected them to do that with Paul Walker's character. I mean, there's been rumors that they're going to have maybe some of Paul Walker's brothers in some of these movies, or just have some actor cast one as his brother, make him part of the crew. I think that'd be kind of cool. But and then my other favorite character is also Han. I freaking love Han. He's just got a cool attitude. He's sitting there with his snacks and his chips. There's even a whole scene where he goes to, and it's in one of the trailers, or like at least a clip that was released online of him going to fight Jason Statham's character. I mean, he doesn't go there to fight him, but of course the fight breaks up because Jason Statham, spoiler alert for Tokyo Drift, he's the one that supposedly kills him in that, and then later on you find out he's not really dead, and they have this big beef and whatnot. So the whole thing where it's like, hey, you ruined my snack, and and like he like knocks his chips all over. But there's something about like just eating like snacks all the time just looks cool. Brad Pitt does it a lot, at least in in the Ocean's movies. He has snacks and stuff. So, but yeah, those are probably my favorite characters. To me, I think Tyrese gets really annoying to me. I mean, he was fun for the first few movies, and then it's just like he has the cheesiest one-liners, and also like his back and forth with Ludacris is fine. Like their dynamic kind of works, but but to me it gets a little cheesy. It gets out there. I don't know. Like the jokes get a little dumb sometimes, but it's good dumb fun because like what's a good action comedy like whatever you want to call these movies that without some cheesy one liners back and forth, and this thing is filled with them from top to bottom, just cheesy one liner like one after the next, and then I'm not going to tell you what Brie Larson's character it does if she's good or she's bad. You got to go see the movie to find out because this is the non-spoiler part. We'll get into spoilers in a minute, but so yeah, she's in there. So and I don't know. I kind of think it's like one too many characters, like big name A-listers that like maybe you don't need her in it. And there's some characters that only show up for like a quick minute, a quick scene, like Helen Mirren, quick little in and out. And let's see. Who else is just in there for a minute? I mean, she's the main one that's just kind of in and out. Just a quick little scene. Then you have like Ramsey is another one that created the God's Eye thing, and that plays a little bit into it. They have a little like portable device that has the God's Eye that can track people anywhere in the world and never lose a signal and stuff. And oh, I believe Jordana Brewster Mia is only in it for like a quick scene, but she actually gets to fight in it, so that's kind of cool. Um, and yeah, I mean, basically, I'm using my little reference guide, but they go from Rome, then they also hit up. The, so John Cena's character starts in Los Angeles because he picks up Dom's son to protect him, and he's kind of the guy. They have a SWAT team that breaks into their actual house, and because of course they've been tracking, they know where that house is, and John Cena's character, like he just plays like a real fun kind of, almost like a kid friendly sort of, but he also kicks ass, and he's like a really cool action guy, and so you see him with the SWAT team, and he's like, shh, like I'm here to help you out. Don't worry, kid. And then he rescues the kid and takes out all the other SWAT guys, and they take off in like an '80s style Mustang, one of those crappy little like two-door like boxy looking Mustang that doesn't even look like a sports car, and and they walk out, and then you see this really cool big truck with some turbochargers and stuff on it, and the kid's like, "Whoa, cool! Are we gonna take this?" And he's like, "Actually, we're taking this." And then he explains how he like rebuilt the car, rebuilt the engine, and all that. And the kid's like, "Oh, because the car, it's a Mustang," and like he mentioned it, like it's still a Mustang, but it's like a Stang's a Stang, you know, but it's not one of the like real sporty looking ones. Then they go to um, so they have some characters going to Portugal, and I think that's kind of where the movie almost kind of ends up in the end. Uh, in Portugal, you have Dom going back to Rio de Janeiro, and that's where the like one almost race happens back in Rio de Janeiro, and he faces off against Jason Momoa and a couple new characters. There's, I think the new character. I'm trying to see if I can look it up here. I don't know if I have it pulled up here, but there's two kind of newish characters. One ends up being of course, the sister of the chick, and I can't remember her name either, but it's the one that Dom had a kid with. That died in one of the movies, and ends up being her sister, and so they kind of have a little race. They like pull up in this big group where they have all the hot chicks that are like in bikinis or like crop tops and like twerking and dancing all like all seductively, and it's at nighttime this race, and they have it all lit up cool and everything, and then they get ready with the girl that's waving the flags, all sexy or whatever, and then the race kind of happens, and if you see the movie, you'll know what actually happens. And I'm trying to think of like any of the other big stunts that they do. They definitely do some things in an airplane. There's like several things, like multiple airplane things that they do where they're launching cars out of airplanes, and there's that. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, they also go to London, and like London is a big set piece. They go there with because basically you have Dom doing his thing, then you have Roman Pierce and Tej. Of course, they got to be together for their banter, their back and forth, because it works well that way with Han and Ramsey, and they're in London trying to find people to help them. Which I'll wait for the spoiler. They run into like a cool little cameo that I thought was actually pretty fun, but we'll save that for the spoiler part. And yeah, they go from London. They also go back to Italy for a little bit. Naples, I think, is another spot. And then they run into also Jason Statham, which he's with them for a minute, and then he's gone, and I don't know what. Like I don't know. I didn't understand where he went, but by the end of it, I couldn't tell if he was still with them or not. So, and definitely this movie ends on a cliffhanger because it's supposed to. It's like part one of this thing. It was going to be a two-parter, and then Vin Diesel came out and announced it's going to be 3 parts. So there's definitely that. So we're going to get 3, which I'm fine with. Like I kind of think like if you're going to announce that it's going to be a 2 parts, it's going to end, then just let it be that. But of course they don't, and they have to add 1 more, which part of me kind of thinks 2 would have been fine, but I'm fine with it with 3. This is a fun series. This is one of the series for me that you can just switch your brain off, just go into like popcorn mode. I feel like everyone should have some kind of dial that you can just switch off and realize that, like, you're not here for like a deep drama with like deep character development and deep like writing and story. Like, it's just them doing stunts all over the different cool exotic locations. They're racing in some of these movies. They're just throwing one-liners back and forth. Things are exploding. They're going on heists. They're just there's a lot of, I don't know, like corrupt like FBI agents and police officers and like all these kind of things, and they're a lot of fun if you go in with that kind of mindset, that you're not coming in for anything super deep, and it's just all kind of surface level stuff, but it's like amazing action, like things. And there's some like crazy like things that happen. Like there's a scene involving a character that crashes into this crane, and that scene where the bomb is about to blow up the Vatican. This character launches his car off of I think the side of like a bridge or something like that into this crane to like spin it around and whack the freaking bomb into the river. And so that happens, and somehow the car lands on its wheels and just keeps on driving or whatever. And also, like, we've already established that Dom Toretto he is a superhero. He's absolutely a superhero with superpowers. You cannot kill him. He's invincible. He's just like the Man of Steel. You cannot kill him. You can barely injure him, and like he just keeps on going. He's got superhuman strength. There's a scene where like he literally like flips over a car with one arm. He lifts it with one arm and flips the car over. It's like, are you kidding me? And just like the explosions and the fire, like their cars on fire, like multiple characters. You can kill some characters because we've seen characters die in this franchise. I'm not going to tell you if any of them die or not. You got to see that, or I'll save it for the spoiler part because I'm about to get into spoilers. But yeah, this movie It's a lot of fun. And I think what I'm going to do, just because if you want to see the spoilers, you can stick around for that. But I want to give my actual rankings just before I get into spoilers. Um, and yeah, so I got my pictures in order, and I might even bring up some like um, something a little quick synopsis because Google has some quick little synopsis that will help me remind me of like everything that happened because these movies freaking blend together. But so my personal favorite of this series is actually Fast Five because Fast Five. There you go. It's got some great Paul Walker stuff in it. He's still like one of the core people. They have the whole train heist, which to this day is my favorite action sequence of any Fast and Furious movie, where they're just out in the desert and they do a train heist and they're like back and forth on the cars, pulling up the car on the side of this train. At the end, they launch into a canyon down into a river of water. It's like really, really cool stuff. And I believe I'm trying to remember what else happens in Fast Five. I know the Fast Five is the first one with The Rock in it, so the he's in it. I think it's the one where at the end of it that and spoilers if you haven't seen all these movies, you can tune up because I am going to give brief little spoilers here for some of these movies, but I think it's the one where Letty dies in the movie. So in the next one, she's not there. And then spoiler, and if you stay for the end credit scene, you like see like Letty's ghost or like whatever, and or like Letty's like it's her. So she's back. You find out she's actually not dead, and it's kind of like a cool end credit scene with her on the rock. So, and I was gonna look up actually. I have it pulled up on another tab. What happened? If you write it this way in Fast Five, it gives you like a little spoiler. I mean, not spoiler, like a little synopsis. Was doing it on my phone. Let me pull it up that way. Uh, so, what happened in Fast Five? Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna have to read it off my phone, but Fast Five sees Vin Diesel's Dom, Paul Walker's Brian, and the rest of the gang being hunted across Rio de Janeiro by so it's the one where they steal the freaking safe and they drag it all over the place. They're knocking cars off the road. They're like knocking people off the bridge. They go back to that same exact bridge and they have kind of like a showdown with Jason Momoa's character, but they and it's the one where Hobbs is actually chasing him. So they haven't teamed up with The Rock yet at this point, and they're doing a $100 million heist, and then trying to look for a way to clear their names and free themselves for good. So that's basically that one. So that's my favorite. My number two is actually Tokyo Drift, and really I probably should have counted them down the other way, but it really doesn't matter. So my favorite's Fast Five. My number two is Tokyo Drift, just because I love like the look uh, of the Japan scenes and like everything that takes place in Japan. I love all the lights. I love that Lucas Hedges, which I had it pulled up. No, sorry, not Lucas Hedges. Lucas Black plays Sean Boswell. So yeah, just like the little hotel that he stays in, that's this tiny little kind of cramped thing, but like has some kind of charm to it. That like I've always wanted to go visit Japan. I'm like obsessed with Japanese culture and like the way that they honor their family. They're very loyal to their friends. They the food, like just like all the like city, the technology, like the way that they're very loud with their clothing styles and their I don't know, like all that stuff. Funny enough, I'm not really into anime, but like everything besides that, like I love about Japan, and I love that they're doing drifting. They're doing tons and tons of freaking races, which is like really really cool. Like they have that big showdown with uh the guy that played Shredder in freaking the live action TMNT, Brian T. Henry or Brian T. I think it's just T. Brian T. So, and then Bow Wow. I mean, say what you want about Bow Wow. He was kind of fun with the Hulk looking car in there. Then they have the other guy that was the friend that actually shows up in Fast Nine that I had it here. It was uh, Earl is like one of their guys. He's played by Jason Tobin. They bring him back for Fast Nine, uh, which is kind of cool. They bring him back with Sean or Lucas Black, and then Bow Wow as I guess his character was named Twinkie. I don't remember that, but that's what it says here. But kind of a weird name. But I like when they're like practicing their drifts in the parking garage. I love like there's a scene where they come flying through the big kind of like like uh like Times Square of Tokyo. I'm gonna call it, with the big crosswalk where there's hundreds of people crossing the road, and they have to go through, and it literally clears like parts of the sea. And then there's the race at the end where they have to drift down the mountainside. So there's some really cool stuff, and they're really focused just on pure racing. It's not anything to do with heist jet or like any of that kind of stuff. It's just pure, just old school, just racing, and I love it. So my number three is just the old school, just the original Fast and Furious. Like I love that cast, that crew. I actually had I had it pulled up. Let me see. Oh, maybe I have to go back. Yeah, here we go. I love the original cast. So I'm actually going to share my screen here because for anyone who wants to look back on nostalgia, because for me it totally is. Let's see. Some of these characters that weren't necessarily big names, but they were just fun characters. Like Vince, like if anyone remembers, Vince played by Matt Schultz, which I think they bring back for like Fast and Furious 7 or something like that. And then you have Johnny Tran playing the head of like whatever the Japanese gangster mafia on the crotch rocket bikes, and that come and like shoot him up with machine guns. You have Jesse is like a cool character in there. So just some, you have Hector, heck yeah, Ja Rule even is in there. So yeah, just some fun characters from back then. They weren't necessarily big names, but they made the characters work. Like they're super fun, and I almost hope that they would even bring back even more. I think they bring back Hector for one. Uh, the movies they meet him down in like Brazil or something like that, and then I don't know if they bring back Jesse, but they should, or like maybe he dies in it. I can't remember. I don't know. If anyone knows, you can put it in the chat or the comments. But yeah, so that's that. Then my my next favorite one is, or in order, my fourth is Fast and Furious, which I believe is the fourth one. I'm pretty sure, because let's bring up the little good old handy dandy synopsis. What happens in Fast and Furious? I believe that it's the one where they're going up against, is it Braga is his name, but like they have that really cool sequence where they're all driving through the tunnel, and it's like all these kind of souped up cars, and like driving through the tunnels down in like somewhere in South America, and it may even be Brazil again. Fast and Furious. Let's say four for that. Yeah, but also too, going back to, because one thing I actually wanted to mention, going back to the old school, the original one is when I was in high school. Like I guess I lived in a rich town with a bunch of rich kids, and like my family was never rich, but we lived in Eagle, Idaho, which is apparently one of the richest places in the state of Idaho. Who knew? But like everybody had uh or they went out and bought Mitsubishi Eclipses, Mitsubishi Lancer Evos. They were having like Toyota Supras, or like different Hondas, or like some people call them rice burners back in the day. I don't know if that's like taboo or not, just to say that, but But I mean, I never call them that, but people did, where they take these cars from Asia, these companies, and they'd soup them up. And like the funny thing is, sometimes they would put turbos in them. Other times they put literally like a cold air intake that gives you like an extra 10 horsepower, and it just makes it loud. Like people think that they're cool with a loud sounding exhaust or whatever. So yeah, I was never lucky enough. I just had an old kind of cruddy Honda from the 80s, and then I think I had one from the 90s too. But so yeah, that was me. But at least I had a car back then. But so yeah, but then yeah, getting back into to the Fast and the Furious, which is the fourth one. It just says in the film, Dominic Toretto and FBI agent Brian O'Connor. So at that time, he's still FBI agent, and they're after each other. They don't even like each other. It's before Brian's part of the family, and it says they're forced to work together to avenge the murder of Toretto's lover, Letty Ortiz, and apprehend drug lord Arturo Braga. So yeah, which is it's funny. So it's Letty Ortiz. Arturo Braga is played by John Ortiz. Like it's the weird coincidence, but yeah. So and that's the one with the tunnels. Like I said, I don't remember a ton about this. I remember that there's a scene where Letty dies, and that's like a big thing that where like I think like Brian kind of decides, like this is bigger than just trying to like apprehend these guys. We got to work together and take them down. Which they work together in like like almost every movie before they're actually like family, quote unquote. But anyways, my next one is be number 2, 3, 5 would be Fast and Furious 6. So let's put Fast and Furious 6. This one is and I think so. Five's the one where you find out Letty's still alive. So I don't think Letty's really in five, like at all. Michelle Rodriguez, but she comes back for this one. So I think she's like standing in there as one of those. But let me see. Let me make it bigger on my screen. She's I think right there. Is that her? Probably. That's where you bring in the other FBI agent chick. Oh yeah, that's the one that Dom eventually has a kid with. I'm pretty sure. So, and I think it might be the one with the ridiculous runway scene where Gal Gadot's character dies and gets literally run over by a plane, like the wheels, or falls out, something like that. And it's like the never-ending runway that just keeps going and going and going when they're trying to hop on this plane. And what the description says, it says in the film, Toretto, O'Connor, and the team are offered pardons for their crimes in exchange for helping DSS agent Luke Hobbs apprehend a mercenary organization led by former British SAS soldier Owen Shaw, played by Luke Evans. So that's one where Luke Evans is the villain, and you literally have The Rock. This is the big one for The Rock because he's like the one where like Daddy's got to go to work, and he literally flexes it, and his whole freaking cast pops off, and then he's like, there's some scenes where he walks around with a rocket launcher and he's like shooting down helicopters, and he's like has so many fun and cool one-liners, and like I don't really know what to think of the Rock at this point in his career. Back then he was a hell of a lot of fun. Like he was great, but like now though, like he's caused problems with DC. He's causing problems with Disney. Like I guess there's some supposed kidnapping thing that he might be involved with some other wrestlers, The Miz, and like one female wrestler supposedly. I don't even know what's true or what's not, because I'm a big proponent of innocent until proven guilty. That's how it works here in the USA, and so I mean I would give him the benefit of the doubt until it's been proven. But I mean, who knows? I don't know for sure what's going on with him. He seems really like a cocky guy, like he needs to be the star. He has to be franchise Viagra or whatever it is, and like he has to be the star of the show, or like he rarely like. Does The Rock ever play a side character? Not really. So I don't know if he's really ever willing to do it. Maybe, but he screwed up things big time for the last Shazam, Fury of the Gods. So, but just look into some of that stuff. I don't know, and I don't. And like he's for sure not the best wrestler turned actor, that's definitely got to be Dave Bautista. Like he's for sure the best wrestler turned actor. John Cena's great when he does comedy, like he's good, and then there's everyone else. So yeah, but yeah, so that's that one. Let me go on to the next one. So my sixth one in order, we got Fast and Furious 7. So Fast and Furious 7 to me should have been the end of this franchise. It should have been. It should have been the one where Paul Walker, because Brian he died in real life, where his character at the end, he drives off into the sunset, and that's it, and that would have been a perfect ending to the franchise. I don't mind that there's more. Like, I kind of feel like there's more. The movies are not necessary. Kind of like Toy Story 5. They made Toy Story 5. Is it good? Well, yeah, it's good. It's not as good as the first three, and it wasn't really necessary. But I'm still glad that we got our. I'm sorry, Toy Story 4, and they're going to make a fifth one. Apparently, I guess we are getting a fifth one. We don't need it, but it's, I don't know, like I'll still be their opening weekend to see it, even though I feel it's totally unnecessary. But so yeah, I got that one. And I believe Fast and Furious 7. I'm still going to pull up the little quick synopsis, but I know it's the one where they skydive cars off the or like drop them out of the airplane, and you have like everyone's going totally straight, but then you have Tyrese's car like spinning around out of control. He doesn't have like good control, and he's really scared. He's like freaked out, and like he's afraid to even go. He's not going to do it, and then like I think they hit some button and his car goes flying out of the thing, and he's screaming. That's the one where I think Tyrese kind of shines a little more. I think he's funnier in some of these earlier ones, but now his character's kind of getting old and like tired and kind of grating, to be honest. But I mean, he's fine. It's not like the most annoying thing I've ever seen, but the synopsis for Furious 7, it's Furious 7, I guess. I mean, this one says, I think on here you got Fast and Furious 7, but it also goes by Furious 7. And it says, in the film, Dominic Toretto, Brian O'Connor, and their team are recruited by covert ops leader Mr. Nobody. So that's where you have Kurt Russell's character come in, which is cool that they brought in Kurt Russell to prevent terrorists. Mose Jakande, which is which played by Jaimon Hansu, which I totally forgot that he was a part of that, from obtaining a hacking program, which I think is God's Eye. I think that's when they bring in God's Eye. They bring in Ramsey. They bring in like yeah, that's like the main new addition to the family, so played like super well by Natalie Emanuel, who in this movie, like whatever outfit she's wearing, like she's freaking hot. Like she just is very attractive. So anyway, but then we're gonna get into some of these other ones that like maybe I'm not as big of a fan of, but we have Fast X. I mean, so Fast X, I do like this movie. It's not the worst one in the franchise, but it's still like, I don't know, like it's like it doesn't get to the core of what Fast and Furious is all about, besides family. I mean, every movie talks about family, and actually I just realized that I'm missing one graphic. I need to upload my bottom of the barrel one, which I believe is, I know that I have it. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So but anyways, while that loads, yeah, like it's really good. It's really fun. It's really great. Especially for diehard fans, because there's some people where Fast and Furious is their religion. Like they just love Fast and Furious, and I can tell in the theater. My theater wasn't packed; like it was about half full. But there are people that were cracking up on every little thing, and you could tell these are the diehard fans that grew up with this series, or really into these popcorn type of movies. And like I am like low key kind of one of those, and I was up until Fast and Furious 7. After that, like it kind of, I didn't really like 8 and 9, to be honest. That's why they rank low for me, but they're still fun. They're still fun. They're not horrible movies, but as far as like how they rank though, they're just like are doing way too much. When you're going to space, like get out of here. In like a Fiero, a Pontiac Fiero, and like they don't even have helmets on. They're not even, I don't know. They're just the way that they talk too. They're not even using walkie talkies the right way, or all that stuff. And then, or like when you have the Rock literally towing a nuclear submarine through the ice with just like a big freaking like souped up kind of like Hummer looking thing, armored Hummer, or whatever you want to call it, armored military vehicle. Like, get out of here. Like, that's just like it, like it, at that point you're just throwing all reality out the window. So that is why I have Fast and Furious 8 as my next one, and there it is, that where they're pulling the the nuclear submarine through the freaking ice. So yeah, there's that. And so and and like really like I'll read you the little quick synopsis. It just says, when a mysterious woman seduces Toretto into the world of terrorism and betrayal of those closest to him, the crew faces trials that will test them as never before. That's a quick, really generic, but it's basically when Charlize Theron's character comes in and basically threatens to kill his whole entire family. Then he has to like go on her side and like be part of the terrorist group that's like after them, trying to kill them. But Dom's not really in it for that. He just can't really reveal like what's going on. So he disappears from the rest of them. So you have all the rest of the crew doing their thing, and then you have Dom with Charlize Theron, and she's the main villain for that one. So, and then that one still has The Rock, which I kind of spoiled it. The Rock's not in this one, which makes sense though with all the crazy controversy, and like he wasn't in F9 either, and him and Vin Diesel don't get along, but like it's The Rock's fault why they don't get along. It is, like, look into it, like do your research. It's not Vin Diesel, but I will say that Vin Diesel, he's not the greatest actor, but he works for these popcorn movies. And he works for Fast and Furious. He works for like a Triple X. He works for, what is that movie, Bloodshot, or like The Last Witch Hunter. Like some of those, I actually like some of those. Like they're kind of guilty pleasures for me. Or for what's the the Chronicles of Riddick. You got that franchise, which I guess they're making another one of those too. So, yeah. So, I mean, he kind of works. He kind of doesn't. Some people hate like all those movies. I think they're fun, guilty pleasures. Each and every one of those, but I don't really love them. They're not ranking in my top like 300 movies probably, but they're still kind of fun. So, and then of course my bottom of the barrel. F9. This is a movie that like I actively don't like. I mean, I don't really like F8 either, but like I really don't like F9. I mean, I do like the addition of John Cena. I don't like that they just shoehorn him in. It's kind of like saying in Star Wars when Return of the Jedi came out, like, by the way, Luke and Leia are actually brother and a sister, even though they shared a kiss earlier and whatever, and they just decide to make them brother and sister when like nobody knew anything about what their relationship was up until that point. It's kind of like that. I mean, this is a new character though that they're adding, and it's John Cena, so it's not exactly that way. But you find out that it's his brother, and they had major issues growing up, and kind of in this one, John Cena is the villain. Like if I look up Fast and Furious 8 cast, because Fast 9 had a very generic description. Let me just see what happens in Fast and Furious 9. Well, I guess I didn't read this one yet. So it says, F9 follows the family as they attempt to get their hands on a device called Project Ares, which will give the user ability to hack into any computer system. After the events of the Fate of the Furious, Dominic Toretto and his wife Letty have retired to raise Dom's son Brian. So that's kind of like where it picks up at. But I believe though that it's John Cena, unless I'm forgetting someone. Fast Nine cast. Let's see. It looks like it. Yeah, it's got to be just John Cena and Charlize Theron. She's definitely there. So, um, so actually, it is Charlize Theron. John Cena's just kind of like a antagonist, kind of, but not like the main one. So, and I remember too. I believe it's Fast Seven where they introduced Jason Statham into to the mix, and Jason Statham. They have that big scene where they're fighting with giant with him and Dom Toretto fighting with giant uh, wrenches, which are like really brutal. These big freaking things whacking each other like they should be unconscious after one hit from that thing and have freaking brain damage or at least a concussion, and um, but yeah, so I didn't put Hobbs and Shaw in. I actually love Hobbs and Shaw. Like that's one of my favorite movies because I think the Rock and Jason Statham have great chemistry. Like the trailer for that is my favorite of any Fast and Furious trailer. I think it like why can't we be friends when they're playing that and like they each have a door where they're fighting and like the Rock takes his guys out quick and then you see Jason Statham kind of struggling to like, get the door open and get the stop the guys that are attacking him, and then they go back to the island where all the Rock's family's from. You have Idris Elba with literally freaking superpowers, and he has some kind of device that gives him like super strength and like invulnerability or whatever. But if I were to rank it, I'd probably rank it somewhere. It's kind of tough. I'd rank it pretty high. I mean, I'd probably, man, I almost want to say I like it better than the original. Like, I'd rank it between, I like Tokyo Drift better. It would be in between Tokyo Drift and the original for me. Like, I like it that much. It'd be my third overall. I should have included it. I didn't, but I don't know if we're going to get uh, a sequel to Hobbs and Shaw or like more spin-offs. I don't know. But what I want to do now, I want to get into some spoiler stuff. Just a few. It's not going to be long, but so if you want to tune out because I'm going to do spoilers here, then this is your chance to tune out. I'm going to give you I'll give you a 10 countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. If you're still here, then we're going to talk spoilers. There's just a few minor ones, like which characters die in this thing, what the mid-credit scene, because there's a mid-credit scene that's a lot of fun. That's definitely worth sticking around for. But there's no end credit scene. It's just a mid. And let's see. I think the only characters that really die, I think, is John Cena. Like John Cena's character decides to sacrifice for. Well, actually, no. I think there might be some other characters that die. We don't know, but you do see John Cena's character just like slam his car in an explosion into some other cars, and like he freaking is on fire and like all that stuff to save Dom because so Dom and his son can get away. There's a whole chase sequence where Jason Momoa's character's after him and freaking. I had it pulled up here where they were at. They were in Portugal. So yeah. So they're in Portugal and they're in the trailer. You see them on this big a dam. Like you see the car driving down the dam and there's an explosion there. There's things that happen and he dies. So there's that. And then there's another scene where like right before the dam explodes, you see Tyrese and Ludacris and those guys come up, Tej and Roman and Han, and I think maybe Jason Statham's character's on the plane too. But they're like the cavalry's here. We're here to save you. Da-da-da-da. All right, you're safe. Just when you think he's not going to make it, and then all of a sudden there's a guy with a rocket launcher, boom, shoots the plane down, and the plane literally goes into a mountain and explodes, and like that's it. But I think though it's gonna be something where maybe John Cena survives, and maybe those other guys survive, and maybe not. I kind of would like to live in a world where they don't survive, and Dom has to live with the consequences, and it's him and Letty that's left, and maybe Jordana Brewster comes along. I don't know. So, and they just have to figure it out, and I don't know. And also with The Rock, because spoilers, in the mid credit scene, you see a SWAT team going into some kind of like big old building, like an old castle or old like opera house or whatever, and uh, like everyone knows because there's some things where they allude to like an an agent that kind of plays both sides of the law, and but he has the SWAT mask, and like for me, I was just kind of thinking, please don't be The Rock, please don't be The Rock, because I feel like The Rock has caused problems with this franchise. He's kind of done. He can go off and do Hobbs and Shaw and leave the other one behind, but they're bringing him back, and I think I looked online, it's confirmed The Rock will be a major part of the next movie. So they have Hobbs back in there, Luke Hobbs, and so yeah, he'll be there, and probably someone that's gonna, like, I don't know, like I feel like we're gonna find out all these characters are still alive, and it's gonna ruin the stakes, and no one's gonna. Or at least what they should do: keep John Cena dead, and then just have the other one survive, or vice versa, or have them all dead. I don't know, but you gotta have death in these franchises. Especially when they're doing these death-defying stunts, where nobody in their right mind would ever survive, but these guys do because they're invincible superheroes. But it just like raises the stakes. Um, so yeah, like I kind of hope that they would. I was gonna talk about my one little fun cameo, Pete Davidson. So Pete Davidson freaking shows up in this. I'm kind of hitting and miss. Like I actually really like Pete Davidson as an an actor. I like seeing him pop up, and I think he's fun. I think he's cool. I think he's charming. I think he's like got some charisma going for him. But I don't know how Pete Davidson gets every hot girl that could ever freaking it exist, with the Kim Kardashian and freaking gosh, now I'm gonna forget. I think he dated Doja Cat for a little bit. He dated when he was engaged to. Let's see. I got Ariana Grande. Yeah, and like dated like some of the hottest girls out there. Like if I even look up, I want to see who. Uh, List of people Pete Davidson has dated. It's crazy. Kate Beckinsale. That was another one. Um, Akia Gerber, which I don't know who that is, but she looks like a freaking model. The daughter of Cindy Crawford, of course. I don't know what these girls see. Pete Davidson looks goofy. He's freaking goofy looking. Like I don't. He's just a guy that smokes weed and just lives. I think he has Crohn's disease, and he lives out on Staten Island. But I mean, he made a name for himself at Saturday Night Live, and he gets every girl. A Carly Aquilino, another singer, or I think it's the comedian and the Girl Code co-star. She was on Girl Code, so I think she's a stand-up. Then she's got to be, if she was on Girl Code's on MTV, the Girl Code Guy Code. It says. It says here he maybe dated Cindy Crawford for a minute. I don't know if that's true, because also this is Larry David on this list, so I don't always trust Google, but for everything. Here you go, his complete dating history on US Weekly. So Ariana Grande, Kate Beckinsale, Kim Kardashian, Kia Gerber. He kind of went after Margaret Qualley. I don't know. You can look the names up. Um, and those are the main ones. So yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he's single now. I don't know what the frick's going on. I heard he was going after Doja Cat. I don't know if he got her, but whoo, like talk about like the list of like the hottest people on the planet. But anyways, Pete Davidson, they're in London. They go to an internet cafe with old computers and they're making jokes like because uh, Tej and Roman start arguing, bickering like children, like brothers, and then they're like kind of doing a little slap kind of punch fight thing. He's like, "Be careful! Some of these computers are from 1995. You don't want to damage them. Don't damage the vending machine. They want to get snacks and they want to like just I don't know, like hear like a lot of old things. Like you hear like the when they walk in the old dial-up connection and like a, you've got mail and like that kind of stuff. So it's a fun little scene. But he's really like the main like cameo in this thing. I don't really know any other cameo. I will say Brie Larson. You think she's gonna be a villain? Good guy. She ends up helping him out, so that's cool. And you got Scott Eastwood in there that I think was in one or two of the other ones, but he's just very minor. So, and then I just wanted to shout out the kid who plays Dom's son. It's an actress called Leo Abello Perry. Like he was fun. Like he was good. There's a cool scene where he literally like is able to jump from Jason Momoa's car all the way uh, to Dom's car, and it's like this whole thing like while there's like explosions and fire, and they're going fast down the highway. That looks pretty cool. Some of this stuff though looks very CGI. Like it looks very like oh my gosh, they're like doing stuff that there's no way you can even stage this kind of like these kind of stunts and like with cars and stuff and helicopters. There's a whole thing where Vin Diesel like there's two helicopters because Jason Momoa's character, which they don't really give him a name until they do say he's the son of the guy from Brazil from Fast Five. They steal all the money from, and they say what his son's name is. They do eventually reveal it, but for most of the movie, he doesn't have a name. They don't even reveal what it is. But Jason Momoa steals their whole crew's all their money. He's able to hack in and their bank accounts and steal their money and use it to hire all these mercenary soldiers, like train soldiers to go after them. And so that happens, and there's a scene where these two helicopters come flying in. They shoot these little like grappling things into the side of the car, and so he has one on like both sides while he's driving. So he can't move, but he's like flooring it. He's hitting the nos. He's doing all that stuff to keep the car grounded. And then like next thing that you know, he just like he cranks the wheel into the middle of the barrier thing, and he's able to get the two planes to like come together and crash. And then he's like driving around with two like the wreckage of two airplanes, helicopters. That I meant to say, but and he has the wreckage of the helicopters dragging behind him, and then like, using them as like weapons to like take out other cars and vehicles and knock them off the side of this cliff that they're driving by. So there's that scene too. But that's pretty much it though on spoilers. Not really anything else to spoil. So yeah, I've heard the next one's going to be 2025, which is about right. And then we're going to get a Fast 11 because it'll be Fast X Part 2 and then Fast 11. Or they might just go with, because they called this one Fast X. I didn't see a Part 1. I've never seen it in any of the marketing. So maybe it'll be Fast 11, Fast 12. I don't know what they're going to do. But so I'm guessing it'll probably be 2025 for the next one and 2028. I'm going to predict it. Like maybe they'll wait an extra year in between to finally end this thing and go out big with a bang. But yeah, I don't know. I think that the next one they really need some time where like half his crews can like might be dead, or you find out they are dead, or you don't know, and it's just Vin Diesel and uh, Letty maybe getting help from The Rock, and that's what you have. So that's kind of almost what I'm hoping for, and then you bring back and do it big for the finale. So who knows? I don't know, but this franchise it is a fun time. Like, it's great. It's something that like means a lot to me that I grew up with ever since the first one came out in 2001 when I was in high school, and I've seen every single one of these opening weekend, every single one, and I own every one, but Fast X, and I will own that one, and I'll watch them over and over again. Just something to watch when you just want to turn your brain off and just kind of just watch a fun popcorn movie with some cheesy one-liners all throughout, and just crazy stunt pieces where these people should never survive in a million years, and they survive it all, and they're literally superheroes, especially Dom, but all of them are freaking superheroes, and this should be the next Marvel crossover. They should combine forces, and you're gonna have Vin Diesel and The Rock and whoever else, maybe John Cena, maybe throw in like Jason Momoa in there, or like Jason Statham, like whoever, and you're gonna go head to head with Captain America, Iron Man, the Hulk, Thor, all those guys, Superman, like throw them into DC, like Batman, like the Flash, all those guys, Aquaman. Have a dual role. Have Jason Momoa's character going up against his own character in DC. Make it meta. Like who cares? Like let's just have fun with this thing. But no, we're not going to go there with crossovers. But just some crazy like they literally could contend with them and survive. So, but anyways, that's going to do it tonight for this review. As far as things coming up on the channel, I'll just make it quick. We're doing on Sunday, so which is actually tonight. If you're seeing the Sunday, May 21st, we're doing something for the Patreon, which we're gonna have it live on the YouTube channel. But if you can catch it live, then good for you. You can see it free, and then it's gonna move over to the Patreon. So for $5, you can watch it over there. But we're gonna have a comedy movie draft, which I'm really excited for because comedy is my favorite genre of movies. It's gonna be me, my co-host Austin, Jacob Barber, and then Benny Hamlin, aka Brother Lomas from the Schmodown. We're just gonna have fun, draft 25 apiece, some comedy and movies, and it's crazy. I made this crazy list of like close to 200 comedy movies. I don't know. I won't even get near that, but like I'm having trouble putting them all in order and like knowing which ones I want to draft first, because we're gonna allow for things like action comedies, horror comedies, musical comedies, parody movies, like you name it. If it even has hints of a comedy, and adventure comedies, like fantasy comedies, sci-fi comedies, anything goes. So it's going to be interesting. So well, I'm kind of curious to see how things go, because you want to be strategic and pick the ones first that you think other people might take, but you want to get your favorites in there. So we'll see. And then we got another big episode going on this week where we're doing our Nick Cage versus Keanu Reeves, which I came up with maybe one of the coolest thumbnails that I've had for any episode so far. Just wait, it's a crossover with Street Fighter. I'll just say that. So really cool stuff. But that's something that like I'm kind of proud of, or I get to like tote my own horn, or whatever the saying is, wave my flag about it, that I'm good at thumbnails and video editing. So yeah, that's where I shine. But so we're doing that match, and we're gonna have the movie guys, Paul Preston and Adam Witt. Then we got Kevin Schmetz from the Schmodown. So it's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna talk about these movies. I've been watching a few of them. I watched like Adaptation for the first time. I just watched Bram Stoker's Dracula. There was another Keanu Reeves, or no, not Keanu, Nick Cage movie that I watched, Leaving Las Vegas. So I have thoughts on all of them. Probably like like one I loved, one I thought was okay, and one I hated. So yeah, we'll get into it. Which ones? You got to tune in to find out what they're gonna be and how we're gonna rank these things. And come give your thoughts in the chat. Like, yeah, we love interacting with you guys. It really helps out the show. Like, it means a lot to us when you can chime in like that, and also subscribe. Like, if you already subscribed, like, then send the link out to, like, on all your socials, or or send it to 5 or 10 people that you know. Tell like I tell people to subscribe. We just need subscribers. That's the best way that you can help us. I mean, signing up for our Patreon helps, and we always put the money right back into the channel. We want to make bigger and better content. Like, I've been already doing it. I just got a green screen with the help from a friend. He gifted it me for a birthday present. So actually, that didn't come out of that money per se, but I want to use it to get things like that. And so soon I'm gonna have cool backgrounds and things. I got some lights, some LED lights I want to string up and like show off more of my collection of toys and pop figures and stuff a little better. And want to be able to do more things on the road, to travel, to get together in person with, instead of just doing these like through StreamYards and like video, like everyone on video. We want to be in person and do these shows. So yeah, all the money goes right back into. We're doing giveaways. We're giving away a whole bunch of my one sheet exclusive movie posters that you can only get if you worked at a movie theater. So I worked at movie theaters for 3 years, and I've got like 60 movie posters. So we're giving those away on the Patreon to the Patreon members. We're also we're going to be doing a big box set giveaway, and we haven't decided what it is yet. But for when we get to 300 subscribers, we already did a big Dawn of the Dead one for 200 subscribers, and we're very generous too. When we just announced the Dawn of the Dead giveaway, but Austin went over to Best Buy, picked up like 3 more movies, threw those in. He got some little like figures and little like collectible thing, threw those in. So yeah, like, we treat our fans and our family, our movie hero family, well. And so yeah, we got that stuff. So all that really helps us out. And then just a couple other episodes. I know we're starting our best of 2012 ladders series. So we've worked our way all the way from 2022 all the way to 2012, and we're starting Wednesday. We're going to have part 1, and Friday will be part 2. We had to push back our championship a little bit. That'll be a little delayed, maybe like a week later, because I'm going out of town that week. It's still wedding stuff for my sister. She got married last weekend, and so we did it big in Boise, and we went to the house where we all grew up in, and where she mainly grew up in. And the owners are amazing and super awesome and fun and cool, and they let us do a whole wedding, like a huge production. She had a fairy tale wedding. She did, and but she had it planned out so well that it didn't feel like a lot of work. Like, she hired someone to set up the tent and to set up the dance floor and some of that stuff. We Like, my main thing is I helped with the lighting and the music, but I mean, like, we all but pitched in and just helped out with all kinds of stuff. We had family that literally helped out with the food and like didn't charge us almost anything for it. And it was amazing food, amazing like music and dance floors and decoration. They had a getaway car that was a 1950s Porsche that they drove off in literally into the sunset with fireworks shooting up and everything. So it really was cool. Like, the decorations were like amazing. The flowers my mom did, like probably 85% of the flowers, and we just had a professional do some big arrangements and her bridal bouquet. So but yeah, so we're gonna do the open house this next weekend, and uh her new husband's from the St. George area in Utah, and so I forget the name of the town, a little town down there in southern Utah. And we're gonna hit up Zion's Park, Zion's National Park, when we go down there. I haven't been there since I was a kid. When I was 6 years old or 7, something like that, and I climbed to the top of Angel's Landing with my dad and his friend, and I was not afraid of heights and walked right to the edge. And I don't know how high Angel's Landing is. I want to actually look it up. because I'm actually curious. I haven't looked this up for a long time. How tall is Angel's Landing in Zion's National Park? Uh, well, It says it's 1,488 feet. Or no, sorry, no, 1,760 feet is what the actual elevation is. Which compare that to Everest, that's nothing. But this thing's huge. Like that felt high. It felt like really high. It's the highest peak there, and it's like higher than any mountains uh, near anywhere where I live in Idaho. So it's high. But I don't know if we'll do that hike or some other stuff. But maybe the Narrows or something like that. But yeah. So that's basically what's coming up on the channel. I'll announce more when we do some of our shows, but I'm gonna call it good for tonight. Thank you for tuning in, and let me know if you want me to do a Guardians 3. I know the movie's already out for a while. If you want to hear my thoughts on it, I still kind of want to see it another time, and I'm gonna try to do more of these. So yeah, uh, maybe do more reviews. I'm kind of not doing trailer reactions, but I'm doing reviews. And who knows, if you'd like to see trailer reaction, if you care about that stuff, let me know and we'll do it. We want to do content you like to see. You have ideas for tournament fights, for tier ranker, for like other shows that we do. We got a new show coming up called Wheel of Movies, where we put everyone's top 128 plus 20 honorable mentions into a big wheel, and we just spin the wheel, and whatever it lands, we're going to do a 1 hour deep dive, and we're also going to be doing monthly movie hero mystery tournaments with all of our favorite movies. The same wheel, spin it 64 times, and that'll be what will pop up in a tournament of 64, and it'll be all our favorite movies. So it's going to be tough. So we got some stuff like that. If you want to come on and showcase your top 64 movies, we'll do a whole episode for you, and we can talk all about your favorite movies, rank them, and like just like have fun with that kind of stuff. So yeah, and we're open to all kinds of guests. So and I think eventually too, we're still in the very early stages. We want to do a 24-hour subathon. We're working on it. Maybe July is kind of what is looking most likely, but we'll see. We'll see, because that would be like we do one episode of every single show that we do. Maybe a watch along. Probably have a couple people come on and do um, some one-offs. Like Malcolm will come do rank 'em. We'll have like we're friends with movie heroes with a Z at the end, and yeah, because we got the Movie Hero Network. Why not? Or no, sorry, Mega Movies. Yeah, so that's Wolfman and Ross's channel, and they want to come do a one-off. Maybe we'll do a whole bunch of trivia. We'll have a good time. So that might be coming up soon. So, but anyways, it is late for me. I was gonna try to work out. I don't know if I still will. It's 1 a.m. here, but we'll see. We'll see. But because I'm a night owl, but anyways, that'll do it tonight. And go see Fast X. It is good. Like, if I were to give a final ranking, because I figure I better do that before I sign off. Out of 10, I always rank the movies out of 10. I'm gonna say 7 out of 10 is what I'm gonna give it for right now, and that may go up after watching it multiple times, because I love Jason Momoa in this thing. He's so good, and then also John Cena. Just like I really like Letty in this movie, so like it's gonna grow on me. It definitely will. So, but so I only expect that rating to go up over time and not down. So, but anyways, you'll see me tomorrow wearing a different Keanu Reeves shirt to represent as a Keanu. I don't have anything Nick Cage for our Keanu versus Nick Cage versus Keanu Reeves match, but if I did, I'd maybe wear it. But yeah, anyways, that we'll do it for the Fast X review. We got Fast 8, Fast 9, and Fast X. So I guess that's a trend. But anyways, I've been Jordan, the movie hero Anderson, and we will see you next time.